St. Thierry, a good friend of the saint, and an eyewitness of all the things that he did. When he writes the life of a saint, he naturally falls into a certain pattern, a certain way of looking at things. And we know that this has happened in our own time. You know, for example, that the Sisters of the Little Flower, they were writing the hagiography of the Little Flower while she was still alive, see. And if you start doing that, it's really fine for the person concerned. I mean, you just see everything that the person does as part of something for the canonization process. So usually we do it in reverse. What will the devil's advocates say about him as he does this? But they had it all set up. You know the story of how the Little Flower died and how her sisters had it all set up that she was going to die a death of love. See, she was a saint, and she was going to die the death of mystical love, and that was it. The saint couldn't die any other way than the death of mystical love. And so as the Little Flower declined in bed, they would come up and ask, "Do you love Jesus?" and things like that. See, they finally pestered her, and tormented her until finally she came out with something that could be interpreted as a death of mystical love. She said, "Oh, I love," or something like that. See, they put it all down and rushed off to the AP and the UPI and got it immediately disseminated to the four corners of the world. But I know they put it in her biography. Actually, the way she really died, as people found out, was that she died in extreme desolation, without any consolation whatever, and so forth. And it was a death of love, if you like, but it wasn't the kind of death of love that her sisters had planned. Her sisters' plans were not totally in accord with the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit had other ideas. All right, well now, you run into this with William of St. Thierry and St. Bernard. William of St. Thierry is looking at St. Bernard as a saint, see, and so he sees everything. I mean, if he's going to talk about St. Bernard's vocation to the monastic life, he's going to talk about it as the vocation of one who was already a saint. Now, of course, William of St. Thierry is not writing after the death of St. Bernard, because he died before St. Bernard did. So he's looking at St. Bernard in his own lifetime as a saint. He says, well, this man's a saint, and we're just going to deal with him as a saint. Now, this all comes under the heading of sort of image making, see, icon making, if you want to put it that way, or something. And we see some of that on this board here. Usually, I mean, for example, most press stories about prominent figures come under the heading of this image making. See? Or if the image is already made, then they come under the heading of conforming to the image. And we've had some of these in the last couple of weeks. I don't think we've got one up there right. Maybe we have. Have we got the one on President Johnson and the little pig and that sort of stuff? Is that on the board this week? That's up there this week. All right. Well, now there's a good example of image making. Of course, Time magazine specializes in this. Time just gives you the kind of image that it thinks that you want. And you do want it because you read Time. See, the person who reads Time magazine wants the kind of stuff that Time gives out. Why, I don't know, but he gets himself in a position where he is open to this kind of image making. Now, who read that thing on President Johnson? Yeah, what's it say?
It sounded like it was written by a Republican.
Well, what did you think about it? They were down on him. Irresponsible. Well, now I don't know. I think. Do you think they were for him or against him?
It sounded like they wanted to show what he's like in his leisure time.
Yeah, they definitely that. Well, now what did they show he was like in his leisure time? And was this pro or con? Was this what do you think? Well, yes. What's he like in his leisure time?
Well, I don't know. He just doesn't seem to care too much.
Well, now is this good or bad as far as as far as the average American goes?
It seems to me, at least I know, just reading it. It seems to me like I get sort of a poor idea at first.
You do? Well, maybe you. It all depends. Yes.
I think we were trying to give him the image of being a typical party-going American.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, see, maybe we as monks don't respond to this, but the idea I get is they're trying to say this guy is a real good Joe when he's on his free time. See? They're not saying at all this guy is an irresponsible drunk when he's in business in Washington. See, but here he is. He's drinking cans of beer. See. And he's, get the image that's in there. What are all the elements that go in there? He drinks beer in his free time. See? He doesn't drink beer in the White House. But when he's in Texas, he drinks beer. See? What else does he do? There's there are a few clues there, yeah?
He drives fast.
He drives fast. See? Now, every American likes something in Texas. See? He doesn't drive fast in Washington, but in Texas, he drives fast. What else does he do in Texas?
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.